Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
There is one component which we need to see that I will tell you that's called a cloud log. We haven't discussed that yet. That's the one which we will see today. Let's see this use case. This is a very practical use case, and it's for importing the currency rates into Workday. Only for that purpose, this requirement. And here I'm giving you the requirement, and then we will see how we did it. Currency rates, you know, right? Yes, INR to USD, USD to INR, USD to Euro, and all that. If, say, your system is having Workday expenses, you are using financial right. Then you do an expense, you travel right. You say you have a corporate credit card. If you are in US, you will spend in USD. If you are in France, you will spend in euros and all that, right? Once you raise an expense report, there needs to be that conversion rate, right? It's a very common use case that currency rates needs to be imported into Workday. Alright, there are different ways of doing it. One is you manually load them into Workday. And when I say manually load, there is a task called currency rate. I think it's maintain currency rates. Currency rate type historic currency rates as of date. Here you put the date, you put the source currency, right? Say I want to put INR, then you put A, U, D, and then rate type. There are different rate types depending on your configuration, right? Current rate. And you click on. It gives you the what is the rate. Now, this is already there in the system, but if you have to load it, then you know that these are the values you need. You need the source currency. You need the target currency. You need to know what type of rate, and you need to know the date timestamp when you have to enter and what is the rate. We are loading the rate. That's what I was showing you how it is visible. It's already loaded in this system in our case, right? And then is maintain currency conversion rates. This is the task. This is where you create, like, say, I want to create it. Create as of date. I want to create it for today. Well, we am calculating verse and cross rates. If I am passing a UD to INR and I check this mark, it will automatically calculate the reverse. Right. And calculate cross rates is if you have given INR to USD and INR to AUD, it will automatically calculate AUD to USD. That's called cross rates. If you can do this, if needed, currency rate type. Its current source currency and all that you will enter. Click on and then it will give you the screen to enter. AUD USD, say this one. Right? Here it is the currency rate. Now you can enter here whatever rate you want. This is one manual way of doing it. Other ways by doing an EIB load. right? You create an inbound EIB, populate the template and load it into Workday, but that is also a manual task, right? Meaning somebody needs to populate it on a sheet. Right? The other way, which is via integration, is if, say, the system, which is the provider, right? If it can provide you in a file which will have all the rates and the file can be there on an SFTP, or they can share us a URL and API which we will call and get the rates. This particular requirement is for importing currency rates into Workday from a source called ECB. ECB is a currency rate provider. Currency rates, it's a generic provider euro foreign exchange, and it provides exchange rates. Similarly, you can have routers. There can be different source, Bloomberg, and all those. Depends whatever your company wants. In this requirement, it is ECB, and it's an API based, and the API will give you JSON. And then you have to load it. It's a very simple stuff, right? Call a web service, get the data, and then load it into Workday. Now, what will be the web service? How we will know that? From functional. No, just go to this Workday Web Services first, right? And then click on Operations directory and just search Control F currency space. Right. Here it is get beginning balance. No, not needed. Get currency rate types, right? This is get meaning you are getting value from Workday, but we want the opposite. It will be, this is import credit journal. This is put. Let's try with import underscore currency. Import currency conversion rates. And this operation will add or update currency conversion rate, includes time from and all that. This is the one which we will use. And you will see that there will be a request message. And if you see the request, it will have. How to do that is you can do the corresponding get. Right? And then populate the imp. Right. This comes under Financial Management 38.1. If you have to try that, you can go to the Schema Explorer web service, add latest web service wisdom, and search here financial. And then I got the requirement that I have to load it into Workday. Then that means I have to find out what web service I need to use to load it into Workday. You basically need to fetch data from ECB and load it to the Workday tenant. Correct. And in order to get the API, you went to that web page. No. For API, the vendor will provide that. I was just showing you that it is a generic provider. And the vendor will provide you all the details that this is our API. This is the user. That is the Workday web service. I think Parag, I think this is a public web service. We don't need any access, and we can directly raise the request and can get the information. Is that correct? No, I am kind of confused. Let me open. This is this stuff. All authentication user, ID / password, whatever. Vendor will provide you this. Right. Once it provides Once it provides, you will get the data. Now, once you have the data, it's similar to that. Instead of file, now it is API. You have got your data into the message. Now you have to load into Workday. Now, for loading into Workday, you need to find out what web service to use in Workday. What web service meaning? What Workday web service? The simple thing always to load data into Workday via Studio, you have to use a web service. And that's where you have to decide what web service I need to use. That vendor will provide. It will depend on vendor. It can be CSS, it can be JSON, it can be XML, whatever. Doesn't matter. That is one end, one start. That is easy. The main thing is to find out what web service in Workday we need to use. What is the request that we have to populate? No, it will give you. That's it. What else you need? It will provide URL, username, password, or whatever. Whatever authentication it is, he will make sure that you are able to access it. That's it. And usually vendor provide usually we fetch data from the online resource wherein vendor provide URL, user ID and password, right? Depends. If they have APIs, they are capable enough. They do this. Else, it's a file-based stuff. They will put it on SFTP. All right. We have a middleware and all that. And in the end, what we will get is either a file or an API. That's it. And we need to figure out the Workday web service that we will use to load the data into our Workday tenant. Right. The thing is, say this is API. Say API has fields X, Y, and Z. Now in Workday web service, you have field A, B, and C. You need to now, once you have this, you need to map. X will be A, Y will be C, and Z will be B. This is your mapping. To be very clear, what is the currency rate type? Currency rate type in Workday is like current average monthly. That's that. It's simple. There is anything you do online has maximum of 2 web services. Minimum 1, maximum 2. And then you fetch that Workday web services. You have this, your Workday community, which is a very good way of finding stuff. Sorry, not for the directory, but operations directory. And here you search. Whatever is your requirement. Search like current currency. How many fields? Currency underscore rate. You have put currency rate type. And you also have an import. Always, let me give you a thumb rule here, right? For getting data from Workday, get underscore is the web service. That word refers to location. That is just like get workers, get applicant of something, whatever. There will be a get. To load data into Workday, it will be either put underscore, import underscore, submit underscore. This is inbound. Basically, this is to load data into World. Now let's go into that studio and see how we have done that. This is the start here. The first component for sure in the advanced tab, this is the integration name launch parameter. There is nothing. Services, there is nothing. It's a simple start here. After that, we have a local out, all right? And local out is calling a local in. How to check that is, you do declaration in workspace, it comes here, and after this local out, you have a store step, which is for obviously generating a file. It's a log file kind of stuff, right? Now what will happen is flow will start from here. Get it will go to this one, get at B. Right now we have hatep out component. What is this component used for? For getting APIs, for calling external APIs, right? This is the endpoint and this is an open API because here you don't have any other step of authentication. Otherwise, you will put a basic. This endpoint is given to us by client and get is basically because we are getting information from that API. We have written get. Anything else do we need to mention like in advance or nothing? Unless you don't need it, you don't have to populate anything. Vendor will. You will have a point of contact from the vendor and that person will help you in any of your technical query that you have. An endpoint is given by the vendor, right? Obviously. And then let's see this part of how it will work. I have a postman open up. Let me copy this right in this postman. I will put this here authorization. There is no auth, right? Because there is no authorization here. And headers, there is no header, nothing, no parameter, nothing. And it is get here, right? I can use get post whatever and I'll send. I got this missing access key. You have not supplied an API access key. Probably there is some API key which is missing, or probably a secret code and all that secret code that will be provided. But this is how you test it in Postman. You give the all, you give the this type. If it's what type of authorization it is, API key is something here, right? Then you have to provide that. Request has gone out. That's why we have got a valid, a proper message. That's the stuff. Once you have that, you will get the data. Now this is, you see the output. We are getting JSON right. This is a JSON stuff. What we are doing is we are doing JSON to XML. Yep. After this, what is the output? The message is the XML right now in XML. What we are doing after that, we are doing evol, and in evol I am storing everything in my props. I've created props, say base currency. This is the XPath for that. And how you will get this XPath is from the XML which is coming from the previous step. Then again you are populating all other stuff which is their currency and their traits. There's nothing there. It is. It'll just convert it into XML. That's it. And a log is printing a message. That's it. And like this is Postman, will tell you this is a JSON. If it is giving error in JSON, it will give success also in JSON. This is what this is a. That's what I'm saying. This is as per the requirement. I can do it this way. You can do it some other way. This is just a use case which I'm showing you that the person has done it this way. Yes, that's how he has done. After that, you will know what the XML is and then you will populate your variables. Now, after this, again, there is what he has done is he's just checking whether the properties are fetching right data. Then you have a write step right now. Write step is doing what it is populating the web service right, part 0. Whenever there is XML coming right and you want to fetch a specific portion of it, this is the syntax you need to give in the eval expression parts 0.x part. Part 0 meaning whatever message is coming, it's an XML. Go to this XPath and get that value. It's just a syntax only 0. That's it. That's how it is, all right. If I go here, where is it? I just clicked on a plus right prop. Control space is equal to just right part and control space. It will always give you 0 and then .x. Now you have your variables. All these are your properties. Whenever there is a log, you don't have to put any brain there. Log is just printing whatever a user wants to print. It is of no use, no functionality. You can print whatever you want. If I get this studio and if I just, without seeing anything, I just delete this log and I deploy it, there will be no impact on this. Not at all. Log is for us, right? That's it. After eval, you have all your variables populated. Right now, what you have to do is, now you have got the message, you have your variables populated. Now you have to load data into Workday using what web service? Workday outsource. You have financial management and you have the version which you will get it from that online web services page. Now you have a request message. You have a write step in this. This is the request message. Now to populate this. Right, we have done hard coding if you remember before. But now what we are doing is, in order to remove that hard coding these variables, whatever we have populated, right, same thing. We will put it there that instead of giving a direct value, we are asking the write step that take the value from that variable, and the syntax for it is the same what you use in a log write. Add the rate and then this curly brackets and put your variable. Now what will happen is this currency, it will be the value. It will fetch it from this property, right? Similarly, all the variables. Here, if you see, the only hard coding is this one currency rate, because we know that while populating rate type is a Workday thing. You will not get it from that API because it is something which is configured in Workday, like current, average, monthly, and all that stuff, right? This is something you can hard code, but all others you can populate. You can populate and that's it. Once that is done, your web service will be called and it will, this one, no, right one, the previous one, that's it. Async mediation add, this you got it from there, right? Schema Explorer, go there, all right, and you know your web service. Populate it right there first in the tester. Once it is done, then go there and instead of hard coding, put the variables. That's it like. Can you show it once, please? What web service? What web service we did last time, you remember? Get vocal, get closer by right. Say here I have to do a similar stuff currency, right? Let me do first. get currency conversion rate, right? I'll do a get first. Web Service Builder, get all currency rate. We are using get currency or import currency in our case. I told you the thumb rule. If you have to populate the import, first getting, first do the get, you will know the response. Similar stuff. You will use it while doing the input. This is this one. I will run it and I'll get my response. Yes, let's see. Why is it taking that? We got it right. Now I'll go to the import one. Nope, it's I import currency conversion rate. Here it is right now. Here it is the currency, it write crowns rate anchor currency. Then you have the currency conversion rate data, which is the effective data. But here it is very simple. You have to just populate whatever you want. Right, you know what's the currency adjust? This currency add again. This is the anchor currency. Anchor currency is, say you are doing us to in and us to reduced. Is your answer that one? About our basic currency, currency right, and this one is us, this one is in, and this one is, say, current, current, and then you have the rate type, and you have this is the date. That's it. This is pretty much it right now. In an import, you can have multiple. You have the rate type of currency right. You have the rate type of currency right. This is one rate right where you are populating us to year. Similarly, you will have us to year, right? In that case, this part which is we just need to copy paste exactly. And that is what is happening in this right step here. If you see here, you have import currency rate calculate and it is true. After that, let me make it copy this and open it in an XML file. Then it will be good. If you see, this is all repeating, right? This part is 1, this is 2. This is 1 and this is 2. Only thing is at the top. This calculate cross inverse is same rest. All is the repeating stuff in this particular case. Now in the web service tester, I can try this out. I can load it right away and it is loaded. This is the vid. Vid is Workday. If I go to my tenant and just type that vid by saying vid colon control V, it is completed. This is the rate law and it can work. It is just loaded. This was a particular. This is based on the response that we are getting from there, right? In that case, like that's what I'm saying, you forget about it. We will not hard code it. This hard coding is done because of a very particular use case, because the data which they send, the currency is there as the tag name and all that. That's why it was hard coded, but ideally it will not be. For example, scared. We have created properties for this right, but if you look at the code, we have hard coded right. This is the rate. This props add will store the rate. It is not storing a ode, it is storing the rate. That's the thing. But this is a very particular use case. Ideally it will. Should not be the case. Now, after this, what we are getting Workday out soup. We are getting the vid right. You saw that the output is a vid right and it is again an XMO right. What we are doing after the Workday out soap is we know output of Workday out soap will be what will be this smell. Yes, then after that, what we are doing is we are fetching that vid to a property right, and this one is nothing but the X path of this envelope slash body slash this slash that and all that stuff right once it is there. After the what we are doing is in this is a cloud log. Cloud log is a component which populates a variable which you can then give an input to the store right. This cloud log, if you see output file type, you can choose. By default, it is HTML, but you can choose it to be CSV or Excel, right and level. What it does is you can use this component multiple times, and here is the name of this variable, right? Let me tell you here, programmatical write delete. Suppose you have multiple components like this connected. Now you are doing some processing here, right? There are multiple subcomponents here, right at eval, args, multi-sef, and whatever stuff there are there. Then you also have a, if you remember, send error. Write that in case there is an error. Send the flow to another stuff. Like this one. Say if it is an error in this one, it should go to this, put integration message. Something like that right now. Say put integration message, what it does. Put integration message, puts the message on the integration event. You see completed with error, you see success. And then you see the numbers. There are 3 errors. It will give you 3, a hyperlink, and you can see the message. Right? But say the requirement is if you say you're processing the rows and you get error, you get success. Say there are 100 rows, 50 are success, 50 are error. You don't want to show 100 messages on the event. What do you want to show is a one file having details of all each row, whether it's a success or a failure, success or a failure. In that case, what do? Is you use this cloud log and this component. You put it everywhere. Say once it is any time there is an error, you put a cloud log and populate it with the message and the message detail and it keeps on appending. Say there is a one cloud log here in the beginning, one cloud log in the middle, one cloud log in the end. Whenever there is an error, if it is, the flow is going to cloud log, it will keep on storing, keep on appending the messages, and in the end, in the store step, you will give the name of that cloud log, right? Instead of message here you give the variable, and this variable name is the name of this cloud log, which if you don't give it by default, it is cloud log content. The only condition is all the cloud logs should be using the same variable name, right? It's like variable X and you are not replacing the value in it, you are just adding value to it. In say, initially it was 1, then you added 2, then you added 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there will be many lines, and once you put it, give it as an input to store step. It generates that full file with all the things that you have added on it, right? We will see more use cases of this, but forget about this as of now. But from this a very simple use case. Are you guys able to connect to it? That how it has done, how the different components are clubbed together. I'm fine with it because we will do the cloud log again in detail, but this is just to show, yes, cloud the message. Plus you can put your extra columns here. In the sense, we will do a practical use case of cloud log then. Like what is it? Integration message doesn't create a file. Cloud log is used to generate a file with all that stuff, either HTML, CSV, or XML, Excel. But put integration message when you run the event on the event itself. It shows the errors. It doesn't generate a file. Cloud log is like a store component which stores all the errors, success, or whatever. Whatever you want to store, it will keep on adding. In the end, you give this as an input to store step and then it will generate that file. Yep, just remember this. We will do a use case, then it will be more clear. Sure, fine, this is one use case. This is a very practical use case. Now I will give you an assignment. We did this as the API one, right? What I want you guys to do is to do a file-based integration, right? Create a studio integration, and this one will take I think you will not be able to do it in one day. It will take time, but I will say you do it, keep on doing it until you finish. Right? It is for loading applicants into Workday. Right? And let me see what's the web service, put underscore. This is the adds a new pre-hire. Pre Do you know how to create a pre-hire? Yes. How do we do that? Create pre-hire. Is it that simple? Do we have a task like that? No, actually by hiring, it automatically comes. Right, that's fine. What I will do is there is this put applicant and you also have a get applicant. You do the get applicants first and then you do the, let me see where it is. It is recruiting and staffing, right? It comes under both recruiting and staffing. Let's do the recruiting. Add visual and I will say meet 10 applicants. Open service wizard, get applicant, get all applicants. Next, I want only the 5 of them. Personal information. Next, finish. I get this. I will run it and let's see there is not authorized. Whenever you see this kind of request, a response right from both the web service. That means your user, whatever you are using, doesn't have access for doing this operation. But you will have it because you are hearted people, right? Your tenant is R. My tenant, which I'm using, is not the HepSim tenant. That's why. But it's a very fair, very simple stuff. Put applicant, put applicant. Is this one open? So put app request in this one. This is a very big smelly, right? You don't have to populate one. And I think if you have created a pre-hire, I think I've already right for creating a pre-hire. What do you need? You need just the name, first name, last name, and one contact detail. It can be an email, right? For this one applicant, it will be created by Workday. You can delete this part, correct? That's what you have to do. That's what I was showing you. Like this preferred name, data is not needed. You can delete the full preferred name. You can delete the additional name as well, but make sure you have the right tags right. The name data is the top one. Don't delete that. While deleting data, you have to be careful that you are not deleting the tags, the parent and the child and all that. Right? You delete that part. Now first thing, but that's the end case. But for loading applicants into Workday, it will be a file-based integration. Input file will be a CSV having the following format. Let's say applicant id. I will not get right name. Right, say first name, comma, last name, comma. And let me see where is that. What else do we have? We have first name, last name, and cold blank, and candidate action initiative. Right? Say the date right, and then you say the date of birth probably, and then last is the right. And then this is the one you populate your stuff. Right? Say what Tom Cruise date is today's date. I can but give just 4 rows, right? This will be your input file. Create a text file with this content, save it. Yep, now you will not have STP, right? What I will suggest is you put it while doing it, put. Create a right step. Yes, 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 yep, like this one. You have a right step here. In the right step, it's your property, view text. Either you can do this text, but I'll say don't do that. You do a file you have here. Where is the static file? In the static file. When you come here, open a file. This is browse for file, right? When you click on this, you can upload it from your desktop and it will get stored here. Great, yep, use that. After that, you put first do this, then check file. File is not empty, or we will do that later. First step is this convert it into, we will do XML and then use a splitter to split it by each record. And generate as of now, let's do this generate multiple XML files. This is your first step to do. What I am asking here is you will have this file, have it in the store step. What you have to do is, after that, read it. It will come in your message, convert it into XML, use a splitter to split it, and after that, use a store. Step that if there are 3 rows, it will generate 3 files. Now, last step is very simple. You have a splitter after splitter. Just put a store step, that's it, we are done. Then, in the single file, it will store the all, isn't it? No, my requirement is multiple file. You get one file and it gets converted into multiple files by each record. Got it? Since we are not aggregating, it creates a separate file for each and every record. Correct, 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 correct. Do this, and we will keep on enhancing this with all the concepts that we have done far. Schema Explorer, go to this one, add latest web service, click on visible and then search for it. You have the first one as recruiting. Well, depends. Again, it can be anything, but leave it as of now. It's recruiting. I was typing something else. Take a screenshot of this and then do this. Just a second. I'm gonna have a couple of doubts. While we are creating on a web service request for currency, we are getting the information from the vendor and it has like USD and some yen and some extra currencies. But there I couldn't find some other currency, like example, C's currency. In that we still are requests. Right then, how do I make use of how do I put that into my integration? No, that you can do it. It has to be there in the source. Their API should provide that. You will not do it on your own. There's no stuff. Rates cannot be manipulated. Whatever is coming, you will load. That's it. This one is fine. Yes, then let's do this and then we will add on to this tomorrow. What I'm doing is, rather than giving you one big requirement, I'm splitting it into multiple parts. This is the first part of reading files and splitting the file. After that, we will do the loading it into work. Then we will add more enhancement to it. That rather than this. This is fine. Also, let's have launch parameter where the user you'll select a date and you have to use that date as, say, the effective date or something like that. We will do it step by step, but let's first do this. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.